Good morning. How are we all? I have a cold, so I am isolating. Except I did give Michael Clark just a big hug when he got here today. Just joking. Good morning. We're so glad you're here. Our prayer is that you will experience the love of God. I hope you experience the love of God, and that's a real hope today in and among this community of faith. Just a couple things I'd like to highlight as we move into service. Conversations with Carolyn will take place downstairs in room 111 immediately following here. There are some questions on the back of the program bulletin that'll help guide the beginning of that conversation, but we also have additional questions too. These are each sessions that stand alone. You don't have to be at the one before or the one after. It doesn't matter. Just come, eat a donut, and have a good time. Speaking of eating donuts, I'm so happy to see you. I am so glad that -0. You're like, we're not playing this game twice. So thank you. Thank you for not playing the game twice. Just a couple of things I'd like to highlight. First of all, the Slow Cooker Cook-Off. Slow Cooker Surprise Cook-Off. Is February 4th. Real easy, signed up on Sign Up Genius. It's so easy. You can sign up to bring something. You can sign up to bring a basket. You can sign up to bring just something to eat. It's great. It works perfectly. But Karen is behind that event. And Karen, if you want any details, Karen is the person to see. May I add a plug? Sure. All right. Oh, with a gift card. Nice. All right. Yes. The other thing I want to highlight is our first quarter big give is Best Buddies. Best Buddies is a wonderful program that brings people together with intellectual disabilities with those who do not, and creates buddy networks for people, and it's pretty profound. The display outside is from some of our friends at Best Buddies, some of the artists at Best Buddies. And if you are interested in purchasing one of those, the starting bid, so you have to give at least $25 to get one of the pictures off the wall. So that's it. So how does this work? You go, I want that. And then you either Venmo us and say, this is for a Best Buddies picture. And then you go back there are red stickers, and you put a red sticker on it and say, it's mine, or whatever your name is. And you put it over the green dot. Like I said, it's $25 starting. If you can give a little more, that would be fine as well. So if there's a red dot on it, it's already sold. It's not for sale here. But and then, or you can write a check. Just don't put a red dot on it until you've written a check or you put something in Venmo. That's all I got there. Leanne, what's going on?
Good morning. It's so nice to see you because you weren't here last week. Well, some of you were. Some of you were. Good morning. I'm so sorry. I feel like as soon as I came up, she left. Anyway, that's all right. No, fine. It's fine. It's fine. So I have to admit something. I have turned into that crazy bird lady. So I, for Christmas, got a couple bird feeders. And then I have the shepherd crooks, and I might have just purchased another one that I'm going to make my husband hammer into a frozen ground when he gets home from church today. I have become that. And I always thought my mother was crazy because she became that crazy bird lady. But then I became that crazy bird lady. So what we've learned is that it's genetic. But that's okay. So the kids and I are going to start learning about birds. Did you know we can learn a lot about birds? Specifically, geese. Yeah, they do a lot of really bad things. But they're pretty smart. They really are. For example, they fly united in a V. And that head goose is the one that breaks all of like the wind, so it's easier for the geese behind him to fly. Did you know that? Yeah, no, it's amazing. There are some serious things. And those geese that are behind, you know what they do? They cheer the head goose. By honking. It's never the head goose that honks. It's the geese in the back that honk. No, they're going, go. We should be honking for those in the church. And so it brings up our verse that we're going to learn today. But ask the animals, and they will teach you, or the birds in the sky, and they will tell you, or speak to the earth, and it will teach you, or let the fish in the sea inform you. Which of all these does not happen by the hand of the Lord? None of them. So even the geese can teach us. So today, the kids and I are going to go downstairs. So guys, we're downstairs in the room next to the kitchen because we're going to make a mess. Yay! And, sorry about that. And we're going to learn about what the geese or other birds can teach us. Now, before I leave, I'm supposed to hand the microphone to Kevin. Look, I remembered. Thank you. All right, kids, let's go downstairs. And Kevin, come and get it. Woohoo!
It's really hard to follow that. So last week I shared that, I shouldn't be a racist in the family that I grew up in a diverse community, but that if I'm being honest with myself, in the words of W.B. Du Bois, I am a racist because we're all racists. Some of us are just a little more recovered than others. So I'm a hopeful, recovering racist, but a racist nonetheless. My son Kobe is about to celebrate 4 years of his recovery from as an alcoholic. Very proud of him. He's been totally honest with himself about his addictions. I've learned a lot from him about AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. His total honesty with me about our relationship growing up. It's been hard to hear. It's been painful, and I've tried to deny that the things I did or said or the actions I took could have had the impact on him that he felt. But it did. The last 4 years, us white folks have had to face the total truth about our relationship with the black community. How did I become a racist? I grew up in a family in a situation where I can honestly say up until the age of 12, I didn't know color. I didn't see color. I didn't hear about color. But sometime around age 12, I started hearing negative stereotypes about black people. I was watching TV shows like Archie Bunker, The Jeffersons, Good Times, What's Happening, Mama, Sanford and Son, Chico and the Man, that had these negative stereotypes about black people. And somehow I know that affected my subconscious. I've been reading this book, Richard Rohr. I know a lot of you are familiar with him. The Spirituality in the 12 Steps. The first step of AA is to admit you've got a problem. I am a racist. And another one of the steps is making a searching and fearless moral inventory of myself. And so in 2024, my goal for myself is to not only make that moral inventory of how my actions, thoughts, words have been racist and sometimes continue to be racist, even if it's subconscious. But more than that, to be conscious of what's behind those words, thoughts, and actions toward people of color. And hopefully I will be able to say that I am a more fully recovering racist. And that is my hope for myself in 2024.
Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for your vulnerability the last couple of weeks. We appreciate it. It's important for us to hear things that make us uncomfortable. And thank you. So today, we continue on the hope journey, and we're talking about roadblocks, like getting colds and things like that. Oftentimes, life has roadblocks. So how is it that we work with around roadblocks as far as hope is concerned? Today, we're going to explore where we are on the journey and what we do when that happens. So let's take these next few moments to still ourselves and to be reminded of God's ever-presence and consider the hopefulness in your life. We're glad you're here.
Good morning. All right. Join me in our words of welcome. Shalom. Salam. Namaste. Peace. All right. So we're talking about roadblocks today. I know we have many planners out here. I am not one. I am more of a, we'll just make that happen. Being a type B teacher is not the best, but we make it work. I can tell you that I know what I'm doing tomorrow. I know kind of what I'm doing the rest of today, but it's always subject to change. There are roadblocks even in that situation too, right? I like to look at it as I take each day, I savor the day. I'm lucky that I'm able to get up and get out of bed and start the day. And I just try to remember that each day is a gift. So even with those roadblocks, like a road being closed on the way to work, and I'm already running late, it's all right, I'll get there. You know, I try to think, all right, boys have a 2-hour delay and I don't. It's okay, we're gonna get there. It's all right. Just navigating the unknown, adjusting, knowing it's a block in our day, but we're lucky enough to be experiencing the day itself. Join me in prayer. Lord, you are my hope. You make all things possible. Your love has been poured into me. I will face the day with faith and confidence because you are my love, faith, and shield. If there is a road to travel, you provide the light and the map. You help me make my way. Thank you for helping us be the light of hope for those in need. Help us be an example of your love, mercy, and light. Amen. The ministry of the garden is only made possible through your gifts. Through your generosity, we share in big and little gifts, have meaningful services, and a facility to share in community. If you have the ability to give, thank you so much for your generosity. If you can't give, know that your presence in the community and your giving heart always helps the garden grow.
Winter is the oldest season. are stretching out and reaching. Faithful as the morning glow. Carry nothing but what you must.
Leaning towards the light.
Let it go, shake off the dust.
Leaning towards the light.
Shadow laid tomorrow beckon.
Leaning towards the light.
Keep practicing resurrection.
Leaning towards the light.
The shadows of this world will say there's no hope, why try anyway? But every kindness, large or slight, shifts the balance toward the light. Waters wind and open wide.
Leaning towards the light.
Don't just walk when you can fly.
Leaning towards the light.
Where justice seems in short supply.
Leaning towards the light.
Let beauty be your truest guide.
Leaning towards the light.
The shadows of this world will say there's no hope, why try anyway? But every kindness, large or slight, shifts the balance toward the light. The prayer I pray at eventide.
Leaning towards the light.
All left undone be put aside.
Leaning towards the light.
When forgiveness is hard to find,
Leaning towards the light.
help me at least to be kind.
Leaning towards the light.
Leaning toward the light, oh leaning, leaning
towards the light.
oh leaning toward the light,
towards the light.
oh leaning,
Towards the light.
My. Oh, my. What is that beat called, Michael, that felt like a train or something? Does it have a name? It's called The Train. It's my music degree going to work for me there. Just beautiful. Oh, just beautiful. I think that song came as a recommendation. So if you guys like different things that you're hearing, let Doran know. And it's amazing how he's able to make things work. So, and how it all works into service. So I want you to look at the scripture text that is in your bulletin, a reminder that I said something about, and it really is just a cold. I tested for the other thing. It's not that other thing. I've tested and tested for the other thing. But look in your bulletin. Remember I mentioned a couple weeks ago that the person who talks about hopefulness the most in the Bible is a guy named Paul, who I've always struggled with. But I'm spending some more time with him. I'm kind of liking him, but that's beside the point. So, but this is from Romans, his letter to the church at Rome. It was a tough place to start a church because Rome was not all that accepting of the Christian community. And people became disheartened. People didn't know how to make this work. And Paul continually not only worked with them in the current context, but also like referred to our ancestors. The chapter before this is all about Jacob, and so him encouraging folks. So here are these words from Paul where he says, therefore, since we have been justified through faith, if we have faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ, through whom we have gained access by faith into this grace in which we now stand. And we boast in the hope of the glory of God. Not only so, but we also glory in the sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame. I love the translation that says, and hope does not disappoint. Because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. What mile mark are you at? Common question in my household or around my household with my mom and dad when I was going from Indianapolis to Chicago, right? What mile marker are you at? Helped you figure out when somebody was going to make their way home. Or else, sometimes when my nieces and nephews would come and visit me, we would meet halfway. But halfway was really dependent upon what mile marker you were at, right? Whoever got their start at one time or another time. And we got to know those mile markers between here and Chicago pretty well. Well, you know, in the text today, that's exactly what Paul is giving us. Paul is giving us some mile markers to the destination that we call hope. He says that suffering is a mile marker, perseverance, mile marker, character, mile marker. Oh, see it. It's right off there, off in the distance. There is our destination. Hope. Hope, hope, hope. And it does not disappoint. My question to you today is, what mile marker are you at? If you're disappointed, you're not there yet. If you're still persevering, not quite there yet. If you're not in alignment, not quite there yet. If you're standing a little taller, you might be getting closer, building some character. And if you can see the sun, a light, a path, oh yeah, you know, it's almost there. You're almost there. You're gonna hit hope and a hopeful life pretty soon. When I read something like this, I have to admit, and this may be one of those things that come back to haunt me because we record these things. This is where I really have to question the Christian tradition and what we have done to hope in light of suffering. You know, the Easter story is an amazing story. It is an amazing story that we consider Jesus dying on the cross and sacrificing for us and doing all of this so that our debts might be paid, so that we might be free, so that we might be saved. But some faith traditions really hone in on that. And so often, some faith traditions keep us looking at the cross with Jesus hanging on it, which we don't believe he's hanging on it anymore, and really focus in on that and remind us that we are here to suffer, that we're here to be in pain, that we're here to struggle with life. And then if you're struggling and it's really painful, then you're probably doing it right. I really, really struggle with that. Because that, as Paul says right here, is just the beginning. See, the Easter story doesn't stop at the cross. It stops at an empty tomb, or starts at an empty tomb, I might add. I think the point is, you know, I remember being raised and being told, keep your eyes on the cross. And keeping your eyes on the cross, looking at a guy who doesn't look so good, because he's not there anymore, is not necessarily going to pull me to a place of perseverance, pull me to a place of building character, pull me to a place where I'm free. Where I find that is walking past the cross. And I do agree. I used to work with somebody who used to say all the time, make sure you walk in the shadow of the cross. Okay, I'm going to do that because I don't want to forget that, but I don't want to get stuck there. And you walk in the shadow of the cross, and that takes perseverance. And suffering changes, right? When you go from here to here, suffering changes, you persevere, You build a little character, and you move towards what I call the empty tomb. And that emptiness is all the fullness, hopefulness that we need. That emptiness is where we find love and grace and mercy and hope. It's the empty tomb. All right, let me get off that soapbox here. I believe that to be true, though. We sometimes get confused about the important parts of stories, or we get stuck in different places in the story. And people get stuck there, and it hurts them. And I don't like that. I think that this suffering is just a stop on the journey. It's not the ultimate journey. And when you think about it, you think about the prayer of St. Francis, or you think about Jesus turning the world upside down in different ways. It's about like dying so that we can live. It's about giving so we can receive. It's about all of these amazing gifts that we have when we give what we have away, right? It's in dying we're born to eternal life. It's in I've lost my place. Come on, help me, you people who know the prayer of St. Francis. It's replacing hatred with love, injury with pardon, despair with hope, sadness with joy, and dying being born. That's pretty powerful. And those are all road mile markers. Yes, have a little more cold medicine, Caroline. Those are all mile markers to living a rich, full life. I think stopping in suffering is a big problem. Remember, hope is the belief that life can be better today or tomorrow than it is today, and then you're the one driving the car. I live into hope 1 mile marker at a time, and if we don't see it, feel it, know it, experience it, we're not there yet. Now, we all know when we're taking a journey that oftentimes things don't go as planned. We know there are roadblocks, there are accidents, there are detours. I don't know if anybody saw, but last night on the news, they're already starting. They are so sure that we are going to totally freak out. They're closing 82nd Street out near Castleton, and it's supposed to happen Monday, and we want you to start worrying about it today. It's going to be closed off for a really long time. Someday it's going to make your life better, but right now it's going to be hell. That's what they reported last night. That's what they were reporting last night. So there are going to be roadblocks, there'll be detours. It's all part of life. Now, what's interesting about this is if we identify that as suffering, and we take the time to name and claim it, as Kevin was saying earlier, I have to name and claim that this is who I am. I am a racist, then I can deal with that. We can persevere through it. Oftentimes, we don't like doing that. We don't like naming and claiming whatever it is that we have going on in our lives. We like to blame someone else. Someone else is a racist. So we like to blame someone else or something else. But that keeps us stuck in the suffering. Many will totally take on suffering and live into it. You've seen it before. That person that you never want to ask, how you doing today, huh? You know them. We all know them, right? We know people who have taken on suffering as a hobby. And that's not where it's at. And it just really, indeed, brings me pain. When suffering comes, we have to find a way to persevere. We need awareness that at times it's important that we persevere until we're standing a little taller in character and until we find our way to hopefulness. A number of years ago, I had a flight from Southwest Florida, and I think it was before I was at the garden, but somehow I ended up at one of the mission trips the garden was doing. I went down there to preach one Sunday, and I'm sure I encountered some of you. I don't remember exactly how many years ago, but you take a flight from Southwest Florida to Indianapolis, it's not really a big deal anymore. This was one of those flights. It was kind of late at night. I was kind of ready to get home. I had to preach, and I had to get home. And so, the stewardess does what the stewardess does, right? Glad you're here, buckle your seatbelt. the mask, all of this, right? And I was clearly paying great attention to whatever it was that she was saying. Probably not. I didn't pay attention. I didn't pay attention at all. And to be honest with you, up to that point, I probably never had paid attention to what the stewardess was saying. Well, not long after the takeoff, I noticed that my ears felt different, like they've never felt before on a flight. Thought it was really kind of interesting. And I went ahead and I probably thought, well, it's probably because I haven't turned my internet off or whatever, and the plane is going down because I didn't go to airplane mode fast enough. So I probably was doing that when the window, so I was here, the window was over there. It was 2-seater, 1-seater deal, great big plane. 2 seats on this side, 1 seat on this side. The window went, boom, boop, popped out. Yeah. Mask came down. You know what I did? I freaked out. I totally and completely freaked out, as did everybody else. It is a little freaky to have that happen because I couldn't imagine a door. This was just a window. Things started blowing around and things were kind of going crazy. And just as calm as can be, they get on and say, okay, put on your face mask and make sure you secure yours. And if the person next to you is having a hard time, no one was next to me. And I was like, oh my God. I freaked out and I put it on and sure enough, it did not inflate. Somehow I think I would feel better if it would inflate, Dr. Mike. I don't know why it doesn't inflate, but, and here we go, and I can't wait. We're not really that far from the airport when this all happens. So I can't wait, because we're just going to turn around and go back to the airport, which was at first what we were going to do. But then they realized there's too much fuel in this plane. So guess what? We got to fly around for about 15 or 20 minutes getting rid of fuel. And people were freaking out. People were like texting people. The minister was not. I was like, God, this will preach someday or whatever. I don't know. I wasn't that freaked out. I don't know why. I think I must have been in shock because I was not that freaked out. So we finally get back to the airport and you see all the emergency vehicles and there's lights and there's sirens and it's everywhere. And I'm like, oh man, somebody must be in trouble. It was for us. It was for us. And so we, the plane landed and they let you off on the Rockstar thing. I guess they didn't want the plane anywhere near the terminal. So they let us off the Rockstar gangplank, whatever it's called, and immediately put us into ambulances. Yeah. Immediately put us into ambulances and start examining our heads. Not really our heads, it was our ears. So they had all kinds of, it's amazing how quickly they can do these things. There was somebody there, they were looking at your ears, they did all these different things. And then they start throwing free stuff at you. Remember, this was the time when they were like charging you $10 for one of those obnoxious little blankets. Here, have 6 of them, and here, all the snacks you want, and all the alcohol you want, or whatever. They were freaking out. So then they get you into what they call the debriefing room. You guys, Southwest Florida, Indianapolis, not a very long flight. And in the debriefing room, you had an opportunity to debrief your experience and try to figure out what you were going to do next. There were a number of people who said, you know what, we have a place in Naples, we're gonna go back there tonight, that's what we're gonna do. There were other people who were like, we're gonna rent a car, and we're gonna drive home. There were other people who were like, we're gonna stay overnight, because of course they were willing to put you up, and then we'll figure out tomorrow what we're gonna do. And of course there was me. I have to preach. There's nobody else in the world that could do what I have to do tomorrow. So, and the more I think about it, I was probably in shock because I did. I just got onto another plane and I went home. Now, what's interesting to me is that our destination or our journey was cut off right at the very beginning, right? No mile markers, no nothing. The plane had to go back. We all had to figure out something to do. And something tells me that the decisions that each and every one of us made were the decisions we needed to make at the time, and they all represent how we dealt with suffering, how we were going to persevere through the experience, how the experience built character. I think this is the first time I've preached about it. So I had character until today. How it builds character and how we can move forth more hopefully. Now, I can't tell you the other people on that plane, if they ever got on another plane again. I can't tell you what they did. I can only tell you what my experience was. And my experience was that somehow, in a tough situation, decisions were made, people did what they were supposed to do, and life is different for me today than it was before. How? I always pay attention to the stewardess now. Not only do I pay attention to her, I even pull a little thing out. Take a good look. And we should do that not only because we don't know as much as we think we know, but it's pretty rude too. You know, here I am week after week doing this and nobody pays any attention. But that's something that I have done because I am hopeful that if anything ever happened to me again on an airplane, that there are mile markers in place that will help me in making the decisions I have to make and in making me move forth in life. What I appreciate about the text from Romans is that these mile markers are real, they're tangible, and they make sense to me. And what I love about it is it really does make that saying clear and true, right? If everything's not okay, then it's not the end yet. Have you ever heard that statement before? I love that. If everything isn't okay, then it's not the end yet. Last week, I asked a question in the message about how the journey towards racial equity is going in our country. I asked how those involved in the movement felt about the advancements since King's death. And I did that in such a way that if people are involved, and we do have people in our community involved, I did it during the sermon so they couldn't really talk to me about it, but then they found a way to talk to me about it. Not only that, but on Monday, Tricia, Kimberly, Patrice, and myself, we headed to the State Museum to hear Ashley Baston, also known as Cyrene Simone, and her mother. And she shares a journey in song and spoken word about being a person of color in this country. She started the program with her own arrangement of Times They Are A-Changin', and I have to tell you, I was forever changed in that moment. I was overcome by emotion because it was so powerful. And then in the midst of the program, we're introduced to this African queen who gives us these African proverbs, and this is Cyrene's mom who shares those with us. Then there is one point in her program that she shares the names of those who have died in violent ways in our country. And what I appreciated about it was that she had a notebook right there, and she picked that notebook up so you were getting the very latest information of people who had died in a violent act. It was very, very powerful. The pain and the suffering, for me at least, it was palatable, but even more so, it was so surrounded by hope and hopefulness that it made it real for me. After the program was over, Trish reminded me that we were able to do something with slavery some 150 plus years ago. That the civil rights movement did start 60 years ago and continues on till this day. She reminded me that it doesn't stop there, that Black Lives Matters came and persevered. These are all steps, I believe, through suffering and building perseverance and character and, yes, hope. Now, in February, we have an opportunity to share in community with our friends from Best Buddies, a program that brings together people with intellectual disabilities with folks who do not have them. This has created a place over the years, Best Buddies, to build powerful relationships, 40 years plus. Now you think about it, what's happened in the last 40 years from before that. I know that I have had the honor of being with families who, when they had a child with an intellectual disability, were immediately told they needed to institutionalize them in my lifetime and in your lifetime, right? So there's been some suffering there, but there's been perseverance as well. The parents who said, nah, that's not gonna work for us. The parents who said, we're gonna move forward and we're gonna keep moving forward and try to figure forward. And then there were places that were created for all people, no matter where you came from, no matter what was going on with you intellectually. Then there were relationships started. What I love now is that the world has taken note that just because you don't think like me, act like me, move like me, you have something to share. Companies are making room for people with intellectual disabilities. People who have intellectual disabilities and high IQs are now being accommodated to work into workplaces where they can have meaningful jobs for the rest of their lives. This, my friends, I think is what Paul is talking about here. I think what Paul is saying is, yes, suffering is part of life, and we can look at the suffering in life and say, God, that sucks. But then we have to keep moving forward because suffering does not have the last word. We persevere, we build character, and we continue to move through to hope because hope does not disappoint. So today, my question to you, or the first question we're going to be talking about in Conversations with Carolyn, is what mile marker are you on when you come here today? Are you suffering? Are you persevering? Are you standing a little taller with character? Or are you living hope? No matter where you are today, God is at work in your life as real as the air we breathe, and no roadblock can keep you from that. Amen.
I used to think maybe you love me. Now, baby, I'm sure. And I just can't wait for the day when you knock on my door. Now, every time I go for the mailbox, gotta hold myself down. 'Cause I just can't wait till you write me you're coming around. Sunshine, whoa, I'm walking on sunshine, whoa, I'm walking on sunshine, whoa, and don't it feel good? Hey, all right now, don't it feel good? Hey, all right now. I used to think maybe you love me. Now I know that it's true. And I don't want to spend my whole life just waiting for you. No, I don't want you back for the weekend, not back for a day. Oh, no, no. I said, baby, I just want you back, and I want you to stay. Oh, yeah. I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa. I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa. I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa. And don't it feel good? Oh, yeah. And don't it feel good? Hey, all right now. Ooh.
Miss Abby.
We needed to walk on a little sunshine today, Abby. Thank you very, very much. Okay, friends, move forth. Yep, suffering, it's part of life, but persevere, build some character, and hope is right around the corner. Go now, and may the love of our God be yours today, tomorrow, and forevermore. Amen.